The Lakers have yet again had another disappointing season, a season to forget for sure. With the massive amount of hype after acquiring Russell Westbrook, with analysts predicting this team to finish with 70 wins, the Lakers have missed out on the playoffs for the 7th time in the last 9 seasons. 2 playoff trips out of the 4 years that LeBron James has been there was surely not what the Lakers were expecting when they brought in the 4-time MVP. Injuries were once again a big weakness for the Lakers. LeBron had missed 26 games this season while his running mate, Anthony Davis, had missed 42. Russell Westbrook has been a reliable piece to say the least, playing in 78 games this season. The former MVP Westbrook played a majority of games but struggled to adapt in his new role with the Lakers. Westbrook had his worst statistical season since his second year in the league in the 2009-2010 season. With Westbrook being 33, it would appear the decline of the triple-double machine has begun. With a win-now signing strategy, the Lakers have brought in lots of veterans such as Carmelo Anthony, DeAndre Jordan, and Avery Bradley, who are all over the age of 30. A strategy that has seemed to have backfired. In exchange, the Lakers have given away younger players such as Kyle Kuzma, Brandon Ingram, Julius Randle, and Ball, who all seem to be thriving on their new teams. There have been a lot of different opinions on what it will take to bounce back next season, vocalized by the media. The one opinion that has started the most controversy was from none other than Hall of Fame coach Phil Jackson. Lakers owner Jeannie Buss has been in close communication with Phil Jackson, who is supposedly an advisor to the Lakers. Jackson has been consulted throughout the season for the Lakers, in which Lakers star LeBron James is not pleased about. Phil and LeBron have a history of not getting along. It was in 2016 when Phil described LeBron's group of friends as LeBron's posse, which did not sit well with LeBron. Bill Plaschke of the Los Angeles Times said that, "I've heard that Phil would like LeBron traded." Although Jeannie Buss has stated she wouldn't consider trading LeBron, words don't speak as loud as actions. We've seen it before, where owners turn their back on their star players. Only time will tell if Jeannie decides to pull the trigger on trading LeBron. Now, going back to Phil's comment, it would seem that Phil would rather build around Westbrook. That doesn't make sense at all. If we want to talk box office, LeBron James is one of the biggest box office athletes there is. His arrival to Los Angeles had generated the most revenue for the Lakers franchise in the last 10 years. Even with the 2020 season getting cut short and with the playoffs taking place in the bubble with no audience, the Lakers were still able to generate $400 million in revenue. From the perspective of statistics, LeBron is still dominating on the offensive end. Producing over a quarter of the Lakers' points, LeBron averaged 30.3 points per game this season. His second-best scoring average only bettered by his 2005-2006 season with Cleveland. LeBron's stats did dip in other categories, but that's only natural when you play next to the greatest triple-double machine in NBA history. Well, maybe Phil was more concerned about LeBron's age. The soon-to-be all-time scoring leader is turning 38 this coming season. With Kobe retiring at 37, Tim Duncan retiring at 39, and Dirk Nowitzki retiring at 40, it's fair to say LeBron could be on his last legs. I wanted to remind you that we've been hearing this for the last 5 years, and LeBron still continues to dominate and be considered one of the best in the league. With LeBron spending as much as $1.5 million on his body every year, I think it's also fair to say the fountain of youth is within LeBron's reach. Westbrook has bounced from team to team over the last 4 years. In the last 4 seasons, Westbrook has played of OKC, the Rockets, the Wizards, and now the Lakers. Neither one of those teams were considered to be a true contender for the title. Westbrook is clearly not the franchise player to build around. Other than reaching the finals in 2012 with KD and Harden by his side, Westbrook has never reached that level of success again in his career. Westbrook has always been an incredible athlete, which is why he has thrived as long as he has in the NBA. In fact, when KD departed OKC, he stated he wanted to be around basketball players and not just athletes. There's no question as a coach, Phil Jackson is a highly respectable and mastermind of the X's and O's of basketball. He won 6 rings with the Chicago Bulls behind Michael Jordan and got the best out of his role players like Steve Kerr, John Paxson, and Luke Longley. He won 5 rings with the Lakers behind Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, and Pau Gasol in dominating fashion with a three-peat from 2000 to 2002, and then reaching the finals again for 3 straight seasons from 2008 to 2010, winning back-to-back titles from 2009 and 2010. Being a Hall of Fame coach doesn't always translate into building a successful franchise. Clearly, there is a fine line between handling team chemistry, morale, knowing the X and O's, versus handling contracts, finding value in players, and analyzing potential for future prospects. After his career with coaching, Phil Jackson moved into an executive position with the New York Knicks as the president of basketball operations in March of 2014, signing a 5-year, $60 million contract. This ended up being a very bad decision for the Knicks. In 4 of those seasons, the Knicks missed the playoffs. The string of bad choices started with trading away former Defensive Player of the Year, Tyson Chandler, for almost nothing in return. He would then fire Mike Woodson, who had led the Knicks to a 54-win season in 2013, to replace them with an unproven coach in Derek Fisher. Derek Fisher had played under Phil in all 5 of their championship seasons, so you can maybe guess why Phil made the decision. This decision ended up costing the Knicks a 40-96 record during Fisher's time as head coach. Fisher would never coach again in the NBA. Phil Jackson had a poor relationship with Carmelo Anthony and Kristaps Porzingis. Phil tried forcing his famous triangle offense on the Knicks, but unfortunately, this didn't sit well with Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo has stated that he has given the triangle offense a chance. There were limitations to the triangle. First being, it fit only a few select players, meaning Phil tore the team down to put in players he thought was best suited for the triangle. Not only was the triangle tailored to specific players, but it was a very predictable offense. If teams made the correct adjustments, it was apparently easy to guard. JJ Redick stated on his podcast that he would always look forward to guarding the triangle offense as it was predictable enough to probably defend on autopilot. Finally, Phil Jackson would trade away J.R. Smith and Iman Shumpert for almost nothing. These players would end up being key pieces for the 2016 Cleveland Cavaliers in their route to stopping the 73-9 Golden State Warriors and capturing their franchise's first NBA title. With LeBron's history with Phil and Phil's credentials as an executive, I think it's safe to say LeBron isn't going anywhere unless LeBron himself decides to depart on his own. Phil will most likely not decide LeBron's fate in LA. Thanks for watching the video. For more NBA content, don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time.